Hey all, here at OS Reviews. A few years back, we checked out a mini projector called the YG300 that was very popular because it looks cute and was super cheap, under 40 bucks. But unfortunately, performance just wasn't super good. It was only around 480p native resolution and just was not very bright. So it was more of a toy than anything else. But over the past 2 years, we have seen quite a bit of improvements in this space when it comes to resolution and brightness, even from the budget mini LED projectors. So today we're taking a look at one that seems pretty promising. It's called the Everycom T3. This one here claims to have a native 720p HD resolution, which is actually quite good for something that is still very compact and small. So it supports input from computers and other, let's say, consoles at full HD 1080p, but the output using the lens is 720p. It still retains kind of a cute appearance, this time more of a retro theme that we'll see later on. It also now packs in built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which is impressive. So you can connect this wirelessly to screen share from your smartphones, Bluetooth, meaning that you can even use it as a Bluetooth speaker. This is still a budget mini projector though, and it can be found for easily under 80 bucks, sometimes goes on sale for even less than that. Claims to get you up to a 140-inch picture on the wall, but of course the larger that you go, the less sharp the image will seem, and the brightness will also be reduced, since this is a small unit at the end of the day. So I would say 60 to 80 inches is more of a sweet spot. One other thing to note is technically one of the strongest performers that we've seen has always been these DLP Pico units, which can technically be even smaller. However, these Pico projectors also tend to fetch for a higher price. They usually start at around $150 to $200, so it's significantly more for a similar resolution now, but these ones using a more conventional, larger LED bulb, though not quite as small, are going to be a lot more cost effective. So it still comes in a pretty generic looking box. We do get a few goodies. That includes a included remote control using infrared. It's taking two AAA batteries. The good news here though is you can also operate this unit just by tapping the keys on the front, so you don't necessarily need to use the remote, but it is a good bonus. We also get a free full-sized HDMI cable, a quick user guide, along with the AC power adapter, which is a barrel plug. This is one area where I kind of wish they would have stuck with the design from the previous models, which uses a standard micro or USB Type-C, but it is what it is. And there's also an adapter to connect to a video component cables if you don't want to use HDMI. Closer look at the design here, I do think it is pretty cute, and the pictures may make it seem bigger than it really is, but overall this is still quite compact. Here it is next to an average 6-inch phone. This is going to be, of course, a little thicker than the Pico units, but easy enough to put into a small backpack and take with you when on the go. We have these chrome accents, which make it look a little bit more classy and expensive than it really is, although there is no lens protector. We still have this manual focus dial for changing the sharpness depending on how far away from the wall you are, and then these grooves there for the buttons that you can use to navigate the UI, power key. Then on the back, the I/O here includes one full-size HDMI, one thumb drive. You can load up media from a memory card, such as images and videos, and it can play it back directly. There's also an aux jack if you don't want to use the built-in speakers, and the power adapter, plus the infrared sensors for the remote. Back here features some rubber feet that prevents it from sliding around on the surface, and we also have a standard tripod mount for elevating the angle. So pretty cute. Let's take a closer look at the performance and the video quality next. Overall, it's very fast to boot, takes less than a second, and it does have a fan, so it prevents it from overheating, but you do hear a little bit of that noise in the background. One thing that is worth pointing out is this is not an ultra short throw projector. In fact, you have to be, I would say, around 3 feet to 4 feet away from the wall for you to get the image that's clear. Text details are mostly legible. Of course, if the more that we zoom in, the more pixelation we can also make out, but really this is not bad for a $60 unit. But this is quite good, especially when you're looking at it from afar. Images overall just seem a lot sharper than the kind of similar YG300. You're able to flip the image, for instance, if you want the projector to hang upside down on a wall. So some of these basic settings can be adjusted. Same thing goes with the volume level of the built-in speakers you can also play around with. But things like tilt, such as the keystone, those are not features that you'll find on this budget unit. So for controlling that, you have to move the projector physically yourself. You also won't find zoom controls on here. Even so, this allows us to see that, again, text details for the most part look quite good in terms of they're sharper than you would expect. The wireless screen sharing works with both iOS and Android devices using either AirPlay or Miracast. You do have to connect the projector to your home's network first before it can identify that AirPlay source. So it will pop up this virtual keyboard, enter your Wi-Fi password, and now doing a demo here, turning on to our phone, we can find the device, just tap on it, and after a split second, it should then start to mirror the content that I see here on our phone. So as always, there's going to be maybe a split second latency compared to a wired connection via HDMI. It's going to give you the fastest process, but overall, really not bad. And you're able to do things like share a photo on a larger display and do this process without having to connect anything, which is pretty convenient. So overall, again, this process working pretty much as expected, like we have seen from other mirror casting tools, thanks to that 720p HD resolution. Again, a pretty big boost over previous gen models in the same price range that are this compact. And now we are connected using HDMI to a computer. One thing I will mention is I do sometimes hear a little bit of interference. Make sure everything is properly plugged in, and that might be just one area where the QA just isn't quite as good as more expensive units. But overall, image quality that we're seeing here is again better than expected. Smaller text details do become a little bit softer, admittedly, but overall it's still for the most part legible. One of the parts that is a little bit surprising about the speaker is it's not too tinny sounding either, so it doesn't really distort at higher volumes. It doesn't have the most bass, of course, but not shabby at all for such a small unit. You can definitely get by with using it when watching back a few clips and still find the experience enjoyable. So again, when you're not fixating on tiny text details, overall you're still getting a fairly pleasant and overall immersive image, just throwing it onto the wall or ceiling. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of this Everycom T3 mini projector. I have to say it is looking quite cute from a design perspective. Retains that from the earlier model, still kind of looks like a toy at times, but the image quality now is significantly improved. I wouldn't say it's the best projector I've ever seen, but for things like watching videos, things are significantly sharper. Again, there are different configuration tiers, so make sure you pick carefully depending on what features you're looking for. For instance, the model that I have here doesn't have a rechargeable battery, so it does need to be plugged in at all times unless you have a power bank with you with an AC plug. So for instance, if we just unplug that here, you'll see it will automatically turn off. But for what it is as a budget mini projector, I have to say it ticks quite a few boxes. Really not bad now for this low price. You can check out more details if you're interested in the links below. For now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.